Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Bhaktiville. We're here tonight at our beautiful Pancha Tattva Mandir built by Khandita dasi. During the first week of every month, we try to move our readings up here to this open-air temple and relish the beauty of the virtual world. It's so beautiful here in Bhaktiville. We're so fortunate. This is just a smidgen of Krishna's beauty. We're continuing our reading of Teachings of Queen Kunti. We're on chapter 17, page 147 of the PDF, or page 121 of the book. And this chapter is titled, Lightening the Burden of the World. So I've put up tonight's verse here in the Mandir, and let's go over the word for word first. So it's Srimad Bhagavatam 1:8-34, first canto, 8th chapter, verse 34. Bhara avataranaya, just to reduce the burden of the world. Anye, others. Bhuvaha, of the world. Navaha, boat. Eva, like. Udadau, on the sea. Siddhantyaha, aggrieved. Bhuri, extremely. Bharena, by the burden. Jataha, you were born. He, certainly. Atma bhuva, by Brahma. Artitaha, being prayed for. And the verse in Sanskrit is Bharavatarana. Oops. Say that one more time. Sorry. Bharavatarana sorry. Bhuvo nava ivo dado. Siddhantya bhuri bharena jato yatma bhuvartitaha. Others say that the world, being overburdened like a boat at sea, is much aggrieved, and that Brahma, who is your son, prayed for you, and so you have trouble, and so you have appeared to diminish the trouble. All right, so on to our text. Brahma is directly the son of the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Father, and was not put into the womb of a mother. Therefore, he is known as Atmabhu. This Brahma is in charge of further creations in the universe, secondarily reflected by the potency of the omnipotent. Within the halo of the universe, there is a transcendental planet known as Shvetadvip, which is the abode of Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Lord. Whenever there is trouble in the universe that cannot be solved by the administrative demigods, they approach Brahmaji for a solution. And if it is not to be solved even by Brahmaji, then Brahmaji consults with and prays to the Kshirodakshaya Vishnu for an incarnation and a solution to the problems. Such a problem arose when Kamsa and others were ruling over the earth, and the earth became too much overburdened by the misdeeds of the Asuras. Brahmaji, along with other demigods, prayed at the shore of the Kshirodak ocean, and they were advised of the descent of Krishna as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. So some people say that the Lord appeared because of the prayers of Brahmaji. Kunti Devi is describing the different statements of different persons about why Krishna appears. Some say that he appeared at the request of Vasudeva and Devaki, and some say that he appeared at the request of Brahma. I wrote over this next word, so I can't see it very well, sorry. Bharavatara nayanye bhuvo nava ivo dadao. Some say that he appeared just to reduce the burden of the world, which was overburdened like a boat at sea. When the world is overburdened, there must be war, pestilence, famine, epidemics, and so on. This is nature's law. The Earth floats in space among many millions of other planets, all of them bearing huge mountains and oceans. It floats because Krishna enters into it, as is stated in Bhagavad Gita, Gam Avishya, just as he enters into the atom. That verse is Bhagavad Gita 15:13, which we should be reading soon on our Tuesday night class. And Krishna says there, I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. So the earth is certainly not weightless. Rather, it is very heavy, but it floats because the Supreme Spirit is within it. Everything is lightened by the presence of the Spirit. One's body will float in water as long as one is alive, but as soon as the spirit soul leaves, the body immediately sinks. As long as a child is alive, we can take it along by one hand, but when the child is dead, it is heavy. So now we are heavy, but when we are spiritually advanced, we will be free from impediments. Now we cannot fly in the air, but the spirit soul is so light that when freed from the body, it can go within a second to Vaikuntha Loka, the spiritual world. Tyaktva deham punar janma naiti mam eti. And so that's from Bhagavad Gita 4:9. And that verse is, one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. So immediately, within a second, Vaikuntha Loka. Why then does the world become so overloaded? It becomes overloaded due to the presence of demons, those who are against devotional service. When Mother Earth feels this load to be too heavy, Krishna comes just to unburden the earth. If a ship is overloaded, its position is very dangerous, for it may sink at any moment. Therefore, when Mother Earth felt too uncomfortable because of being overburdened with demons, Siddhantyabhuri Bharina, that's from this verse, she approached Brahma, the chief living being within this universe. When there is a need, the chief personalities in the universe approach Brahma, who approaches Vishnu, to ask that he reduce whatever the burden is. Then Vishnu or Krishna appears as an incarnation, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 4:7. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrajamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. When there is too much lawlessness and there are too many criminals, the state becomes overburdened and disturbed, and the state administrators are puzzled about what to do. Similarly, when the world is overrun by demons and atheists, they create a burden, and the demigods, the pious administrators of the universe, become perplexed. When the people of a state abide by the laws, administration is easy. But if people are criminals, they overburden the state administrators. A similar situation sometimes upsets the balance of the cosmic affairs of this material world. Both the demons and the demigods always exist, but when the demoniac power increases, the world is overburdened. It is then that the demigods approach Lord Brahma for assistance. Lord Brahma is one of the 12 authorities known as Dvadasha Mahajana. Svayambhur Narada Shambhu Kumara Kapilo Manu Pralado Janaka Bhishmo Balir Vyasakir Vayam. That's from Bhagavatam 6:320, and it lists those 12 administrators who are, and this is Lord Yamaraj speaking, and he's saying Lord Brahma, Bhagavan, Narada, Lord Shiva, the four Kumaras, which are grouped as one, Lord Kapila, the son of Devahuti, Swayambhuva Manu, Prahlad Maharaj, Janaka Maharaj, Grandfather Bhishma, Bali Maharaj, Shukadeva Goswami, and myself know the real religious principles. So we have to follow the Mahajanas, the great authorities, if we want to receive transcendental knowledge. The Vedic injunction is Tad Vijnanartam Sagunam Eva Gachet. If one wants to be in knowledge of everything, one must approach a guru, a bona fide authority, a spiritual master. And this is an interesting verse. I looked it up. It's from the Mundaka Upanishad. And the verse says, to understand these things properly, one must humbly approach with firewood in hand a spiritual master who is learned in the Vedas and firmly devoted to the absolute truth. So I thought that was such an interesting, like with firewood in hand. So I kept reading other translations, and someone explained that the wood is for a fire sacrifice so that you can become initiated. So let me read this verse again with that understanding in mind. To understand these things properly, one must humbly approach with firewood in hand a spiritual master who is learned in the Vedas and firmly devoted to the absolute truth. I really love that verse. All right, continuing. The Srimad Bhagavatam describes the original source of the creation. Oops, did I skip something? I did. Sorry. The original guru is Krishna. Sorry, back up a little bit. As Krishna taught Arjuna, he also taught Brahma, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. Tenne Brahmam Hrida Ya Adi Kavaye. That's the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Tenne Brahma Hrida. He only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Lord Brahma. Srimad Bhagavatam describes the original source of the creation, and this should be the actual subject matter of our research work. What is the original source of creation? Janmadyasya yata. And that's also from that very first verse. The original source of everything is the source of Janma, Sthiti, and Pralaya, creation, maintenance, and dissolution. Our body has taken birth at a certain date. It lasts for some years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, or whatever, according to the body, and then it will be finished. Where did this body come from? And when it is destroyed, where will it go? There are scientific laws concerning the conservation of energy. What is the source of that energy? There is a source. Yato va imani bhutani jayante. And that source is identified in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And that little snippet there is from the Taittiriya Upanishad, which translates to the supreme absolute truth is that from which everything is born. And that source, Prabhupada says, continues, that source is not blind. Rascals think that everything has come from nothing, but how can something come out of nothing? There is no proof that such a thing happens, but fools claim that it does, and therefore they are blind. What is the nature of the original source from whom everything has come, in whom everything exists, and within whom everything will enter? The Bhagavatam, the very first verse, says, Janmadyasya yato navayad itaraschateshu abhinyaha. The word abhinyaha indicates that the source of everything is completely conscious. The word nya means knowledge, and abhi means specific. We have inadequate knowledge of where we have come from and where we shall go after death, and therefore we are not abhinya, supremely conscious. But the supreme source is Abhijna. He is not a stone or a void. How could he be? The creation itself is evidence of the consciousness of the Supreme. Everyone can appreciate the cosmic manifestation and how nicely it is working. The sun and moon rise exactly on time, without deviating even 1/10,000th of a second. The seasons change in the same way, bringing with them fruits and flowers. In this way, the entire cosmic manifestation is going on in a very orderly, systematic way. So unless there is some Abhijna, some very clever intelligence who knows everything, how could all this have been created? Some people say that all this has come from nothing. What is this nonsense? Can such a creation come from nothing? Does this idea show good reasoning? The Bhagavatam says no. The Bhagavatam tells us that everything comes from the person who is Abhijna, very intelligent and experienced, and that original intelligent person transmitted knowledge to Adikavi, the original created being, Lord Brahma. Tenhi Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye. That's again that very first verse in Bhagavatam. Brahma, the original created being, has an original source, and he is in contact with that source. We understand that we get knowledge from another person with whom we are face to face. But when Brahma was created, he was alone. Therefore, how did he receive that knowledge? That is explained in the Bhagavatam. Teni Brahma Hrida. The word Hrida means through the heart. The Supreme Person, Paramatma, is within the heart of every living being, including Brahma. Therefore, although Brahma was alone, he received knowledge dictated by the Supreme. The word Brahma means Vedic knowledge. Thus, the Vedic knowledge was given first to Lord Brahma. The Vedic knowledge is given to everyone because Krishna is within everyone's heart. Sarvasya chaham hridi sanivishtaha. Bhagavad Gita 15:15 we'll read soon. I am seated in everyone's heart. That's this little snippet. But one must be qualified to receive that knowledge. Krishna helps us by giving us knowledge both from within as the Supersoul, Chaitya Guru, and from without as the spiritual master. Brahma receives knowledge from Krishna and distributes that Vedic knowledge, and therefore he is an authority. There are 4 sampradayas, or chains of disciplic succession, through which Vedic knowledge is distributed. One from Brahma, one from Lakshmi, one from Lord Shiva, and one from the 4 Kumaras. And they're named after each one of those people. So the Brahma Sampradaya, Lakshmi Sampradaya, Shiva Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya. We have to approach an authoritative representative of Krishna appearing in one of these sampradayas, and then we can receive real knowledge. Thus the earth personified approached Brahma, who prayed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The world is now overburdened with demons, and therefore I request you to appear. Some say therefore that the Lord appeared at the request of Brahma, that he lighten the burden of the world. When Krishna appears, he protects the devotees and kills the demons. Therefore Krishna, in his Narayana form, has 4 hands. In 2 hands he holds a disc and a club with which to kill the demons. And in the other 2 hands he holds the conch shell and lotus with which to bless and protect the devotees. The Lord says, Konteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. And that's from Bhagavad Gita 9:31. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. And with the lotus flower he extends his blessings. The lotus flower, which sometimes also appears in the hand of Lakshmi, is a symbol of blessings. Now, some may say that Krishna appeared for this purpose or that purpose, but the real conclusion is that Krishna appears for his own pleasure, not because he is bound by any other cause. We take our birth because we are bound by our karma, but Krishna, being fully independent, does not come because of someone else's request or because of karma. Rather, he comes by his own free will, Atma Mayaya. We are compelled to take birth because of Krishna's eternal material energy, or external material energy, but Krishna is not controlled by the Maya or energy or of anyone else, and therefore he does not take birth in such a condition. Maya, the illusory energy, is under the control of Krishna. So how could Maya control him? One who thinks that Krishna, like us, is controlled by Maya is described in Bhagavad Gita as mudha, a fool. Avajanantimam mudha, manushim tanum ashritam. And that's that verse 9:11 where Krishna says, "Fools deride me when I descend in the human form." Krishna is the original Narayan, the original source of the entire cosmic manifestation. Brahma, or the first living being born just after the creation, is the direct son of Narayana, who is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Who, as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, first entered the material universe. Without spiritual contact, matter cannot create. Those who are seeking the original cause of the material creation should know that the creation takes place when the spirit soul is present. Matter is activated by the spirit soul. It is not that the soul is created by matter. According to the Buddhist theory, the living force, the living energy we all have, is created by material conditions. At the present moment, the entire world is influenced by this Buddhist theory. The actual fact, however, is that matter develops because of the presence of the living force. We can understand this very easily. After a child is born, he grows, and his body develops. But if the child is born dead, if the spirit soul is not present, the body will not develop. Therefore, the spirit is the basis for the development of matter, and not vice versa. Why does a dead child not grow? Because the spirit is not present. A tree grows as long as there is life in it. If we sow the small seed of a banyan tree in good soil and favor it with water, it will grow because the spirit soul is present. But if we were to fry such a seed in fire and then sow it, it would fail to grow because the spirit soul would not be there. Matter grows and develops because of the presence of the spirit soul, and this principle has been followed from the very beginning of the creation. At the beginning of creation, the Supreme Spirit entered the universe, and the first living being, Brahma, was born on a lotus flower, grown from the transcendental abdomen of Vishnu. Accepting that the lotus on which Brahma was born is matter, we should understand that it is also grown from spirit. Therefore, spirit is the basis of creation. Let me read that whole little section over again. At the beginning of creation, the Supreme Spirit entered the universe, and the first living being, Brahma, was born on a lotus flower grown from the transcendental abdomen of Vishnu. Accepting that the lotus on which Brahma was born is matter, we should understand that it is also grown from spirit. Therefore, spirit is the basis of creation. Because the lotus flower on which Lord Brahma is born is grown from the navel of Vishnu, Lord Vishnu is also known as Padmanabh. Brahma is known as Atmabhu because he was begotten directly from the Father, Narayan or Vishnu, without the contact of Mother Lakshmi. Lakshmiji was present near Narayana, engaged in the service of the Lord, but still, without contact with Lakshmiji, Narayana begot Brahma. That is the omnipotency of the Lord. When we want to beget a child, we need the help of a wife, because we cannot beget a child alone. But Krishna, Lord Vishnu, produced Lord Brahma without the help of his wife Lakshmi, although she was present, because he is not dependent on anything. One who foolishly considers Narayan to be like other living beings should take a lesson from this. The Vedic literature forbids one to think that other living beings are on an equal level with Narayana. Yastu Narayanam Devam, Brahma Rudrani Daivatai, Samatvena Naiva Viksheta, Sapashandi Bhaved Dhruvam. And that is from the Padma Purana. A person who considers demigods like Brahma and Shiva to be on an equal level with Narayan is to be considered an offender and an atheist. Someone has invented the word Daridra Narayan. Daridra means poor, so poor Narayan, trying to show that Narayan has become poor and that the beggar who comes to my door to beg is also Narayana. This is not authorized in the Vedic literature. Narayana is the master of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, and only fools think that he somehow becomes poverty-stricken. Rascals say that Narayana, Brahma, Shiva, all the demigods, you, I, and everyone else are all on the same level. This is foolishness. Narayana is asamordya, asamordva. This means that no one can be equal to or greater than him. Therefore, Krishna himself, the original Narayana, says in Bhagavad Gita, Mata Parataram Nanyat, there is no one superior to me, nor is anyone equal to him. The word asama means that no one is equal to him, and anurdva means that no one is greater than him. This is the position of the Lord. Narayana is not an ordinary living being. He is the personality of Godhead himself, and he has all the potencies of all the senses in all parts of his transcendental body. An ordinary living being begets a child by sexual intercourse, and has no other means to beget a child than the one designed for him. But Narayana is all-powerful, and therefore he can beget a child from his navel. Every part of his body has full potency, as explained in the Brahma Samhita 532. Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti manti. And that translation of that section is, each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all organs, and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane. So every part does everything. For example, I can see with my eyes, but Krishna can also eat with his eyes. Foolish rascals will say, you are offering food to Krishna, but what has he eaten? It's still here. He's not eaten anything. Such people do not know that Krishna can eat just by seeing, for he can do anything with any part of his transcendental body. When a washerman refused to supply cloth to Krishna in Mathura, Lord Krishna displayed his transcendental potency by cutting off the man's head with his hand. How was this possible? It is possible by the Lord's omnipotence. The Lord is complete and independent to do anything and everything by his various potencies. This is explained in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam by the words Abhinyaha Swarat. The word Swarat indicates that he is self-sufficient, not dependent on anyone. That is the qualification of God. Nowadays, there are so many self-proclaimed incarnations of God, but as soon as they have some toothache, they immediately say, "Oh, doctor, help me, save me." If you are God, save yourself. Why go to a doctor? Such people are rascals, and they make it very difficult to spread Krishna consciousness. The whole world is now overburdened by such rascals and demons, and therefore the atom bomb is waiting for them by the will of the Supreme. Jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. It's kind of an ominous ending to that chapter, but that's the lightening the burden part. Any comments, questions? Bhakti Mimulus is turning on the mic. If anyone can speak.
Jai. What verse or where was the part where Prabhupada describes the earth revolving, and it's being held up by Krishna's potency?
Okay, hang on. Let me
Um,
scroll back. Let me scroll back
it
up
was in
here.
the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a lot of devotees, friends of mine, that are absolutely convinced the earth is flat. And, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to argue with them, but, I just like finding where Prabhupada says in purports, refers to the world, the earth as a globe and
Right,
going around it, you
right,
know.
right. So that's Bhagavad Gita 15:13. We'll be reading it soon. And it's on page 122 of the book here.
Okay, 15,
13,
32, 15,
13.
13. Yeah, you just can't get through,
Yeah, yeah. No,
you
people
know.
people have their own ideas, and that's why Prabhupada entitled his Bhagavad Gita is Bhagavad Gita as it is. So Krishna's telling you this. Just listen to what he has to say. You don't have to interpret it in some other way to support your opinion of how you think the world is working. Krishna's telling you how the world is working. So,
Well, it's just that we're on the fifth canto of the Bhagavatam, and it really goes into details about, the universe and the earth and, the shape and how many yojanas it is and Mount Sumeru and all of that. Um, it's just okay, whatever. Um, I'm not getting into it. And Swami Ashram Maharaj, he was a friend of mine. He's doing the Nectar Devotion classes. And I said to him, after one of our Bhagavatam Isanga classes, and I said, Maharaj, I just find these things kind of disturbing. I just don't agree with it. And he said that he personally heard Prabhupada talk with one devotee. He said his name, I forgot the name, but he told him that these things are not so important. So I just take it at that and move right along. You know.
right. Well, in Nectar Devotion, Prabhupada says very clearly that um, when we disagree on details, that's not important. You know,
Yeah, details, right.
it's those details. That's not the essence of this. Is that
Right.
we are servants of Krishna. That's
Exactly. That's
and
that's
and
what matters. That's what matters.
the
And
details.
I just can't get into,
Yeah, this
yeah.
sangha, that sangha. You offer this first. You do that first. We don't do it that way. You're Maya. It's like, no, the
Yeah.
details don't matter. You sing
Right.
half of the mantra, you sing the last part of the mantra first. Like, no, details.
Right.
We're
Right.
chanting. Like, no. So we don't,
Right.
prophets is not to worry about the details. Just see what
Right.
you have in common.
So yeah, I just wanted to ask where that was that you read this evening. It was just,
So
but
Bhakti
that's all.
says,
I don't have any questions. I think it's really interesting how the Lord, he has Lord Brahma coming out of his navel, and then
mhm,
Krishna has arranged for, when the living entity is developing in the womb and everything. Um, we're attached to the mother through an umbilical cord coming out of our navels. I mean, that's what the
mhm,
navel is the tied up end
yeah,
of the umbilical cord. And so, it's just interesting, the correlation. That's
mhm,
all.
mhm. So Bhakti says, aren't these transcendental descriptions? Yes, they are transcendental descriptions. And we don't always understand them.
Right.
So we just, for me, uh, not so much important. I need to focus on my chanting and my reading and my relationship with Krishna. Those are my priorities.
Exactly. Mine too.
So
Exactly.
that's it.
Yep, that's it. That is it. I know that Krishna is a Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Srila Prabhupada is an Uttamadhikari pure devotee and has revealed, translated the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita as it is, and I can have full faith in him. And it's Krishna consciousness is very real, and there's no question that about that. So that's all that.
I
That's what
agree.
matters.
Yep. Bhakti says, and if some description brings you closer to Krishna, then you should like that description. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, yes,
It's Krishna speaking to you. Here
yes,
talking about Chaitya Guru in your heart. Krishna's speaking to you in your heart. So,
yes,
so important to listen.
yes, absolutely.
Mm.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Ekadasi is coming up. What day is today? I think it's the 6th, sometime next week. So keep an eye out for that. Oh,
That would be
and
Tuesday, I think.
Tuesday, I think, yeah. And then the spring Vasant Panchami is coming up also. I think it's on the
Oh, yeah,
11th.
in February.
Yeah. So yellow, we need to put yellow everywhere. Yellow, yellow, yellow everywhere.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll do that for up here.
Yeah. Okay, that'd
What
be great.
day? Yeah.
I think
Can
it's
you
the
remind
11th.
me? 11th. Okay.
I think so. But we could just start doing it now. Just start
Yeah.
putting yellow, yellow, yellow everywhere. That
Okay.
Yeah, yellow flowers, yellow. Ooh, I can change the floor yellow. Yellow everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Something fun to do. And
Yes.
that's something about our, being Vaishnavas is there's always something like this.
Yeah.
Another
Fun.
festival. Yay!
It's another fun thing.
I know.
I find Christianity just so boring.
Oh,
I don't
well,
mean to
they have their things.
yeah, they have their thing, but
You're
boy,
Catholic,
we
they
have
have
so
lots of
much rich, gosh, our,
if you're Catholic, they have all kinds of festivals all the time. We're still live.
oh,
Oh,
okay.
they have
Well,
red letter
Hare
days
Krishna,
and all.
everybody. I don't want to offend anybody.
But Catholics have red letter days, and
Yeah,
those are all festival days. All right,
right.
so we're happy. Everyone's
Yes.
happy worshiping God.
Jai,
in whatever way he has approached them. So,
Jai,
all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very
Jai,
much.
Jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Haribol.